So I told you before, StarCraft is this war in space kind of a thing, right? And if it's a war in space, well, there have to be opposing sides, right? And I haven't really given you the full picture of who those sides are and how do they play in terms of game mechanics. What are they like? I've teased it a little bit. I've shown you a picture of a battle that was happening, and I've used some of the words, but I haven't actually given you like a thorough breakdown of these different sides and how they work in the game. So I'm going to show you. I've got a treat for you. It's coming at the end. You got to hang in though. You got to earn it. All right. So uh, what I want you to do is think about traditional sports, maybe American football or soccer, whichever one you're more comfortable or familiar with, and think about how they have these different positions that the players play, right? These different roles. You could also think about chess, right? There are these different pieces, and they each have different actions they can take, right? Now, I want you to imagine, and this is going to be a little bit of a stretch because this is not how chess works, this is not how American football works, this is not how soccer works, but it is how StarCraft works. Imagine if when you sat down to play chess, you had to choose between a few different armies, and those armies had special pieces that the other armies didn't get to use. Imagine if knights were only for one kind of army, or if wide receivers in football were only allowed for, class A teams, and there was some other kind of way for it to work. That is essentially how the races in StarCraft work. So these are the opposing sides, and there are three of them. They all have different what are called units. These are the different types of pieces that do the fighting. And all of them have these different abilities, and it allows there to be this sort of asymmetrical playstyle between two StarCraft players. Now, we do also have what are called mirror matches, right? That's when we have two of the same race fighting against one another. But regardless, there's this sort of variety that you don't really see in traditional games and traditional sports where you can pick the race that has the types of pieces that you enjoy most. Or as a spectator, you can root for a player who is playing the race that you like the most. And this is kind of like in traditional sports where it's really easy for you to root for like your home team. You say, oh, well, I'm watching, soccer for the first time. Well, there's a team that's from an area that's near me, a geographic region near me. I'm going to root for them. That's easy, right? That's a way for me to be a little bit invested. We can do the exact same thing in StarCraft. So let's kind of meet the races, right? So the races in StarCraft are Terran, Protoss, and Zerg. Now, Terran are your humans. This is us. This is us off in the far future, right? And we've got technology, but we're still basically just, soft flesh in metal suits, and, we've got to build our stuff up, and we've got to keep it running and repair it, and we've got to work together as a team to overcome our enemies. Next, we've got the Protoss, and this is a race of like highly advanced aliens that have sort of like psychic powers and really, really high technology that it doesn't even really make sense to humans. And lastly, we have the Zerg, which are this kind of like bug dinosaur-like alien race that just want to grow and expand and swarm the whole universe. And each of these, as you might imagine, has kind of a different play style. They have different units that they're able to field in battle. And it allows for really kind of fun different interactions between the three of them. And again, this is a great way if you already feel a little bit drawn towards, maybe one of these pictures or the symbols above the words or even the words themselves. Maybe you think Protoss is a cool word or you like the sound of Zerg. Well, any of those are cool. Maybe you like Terran. Maybe, them being human is super relatable for you. That's a great way for you to already engage with StarCraft without really knowing anything about the units in particular. You can learn gradually over time. But if you're in a game, say you like Terran, and there's a Terran player, well, it's super easy for you to root for them, just in the same way that you would root for your hometown traditional sports team. So that's kind of the breakdown, and we will over time learn more about each of these races and how everything works. That's kind of just your general overview, and it arms you with a little something to be able to buy in a little bit more and be just a little bit more invested when you do sit down and watch a game.